It makes me think too, what advice do you have for family caregivers to ask for the emotional and mental support? Like, how do you go about doing that? Because I do think that we often hear it's so hard to ask for help, or I'm just not going to ask for help. But what you're actually saying is, first, get really clear about what is help do you actually need, number one. And then two, it is likely that you probably want some emotional and mental support and help. How would someone ask for that from someone?
I love that question because what I hear a lot as well, and I'm sure you have and do, is, well, caregiver, you got to take care of yourself. And that can be incredibly maddening to hear that, because it's not like I don't want to take care of myself. Right. So I think first and foremost, and this is going to sound probably a little cliche, but when you're in the moment of a situation and you finally have 30 minutes because your loved one's taking a nap, that's the time that you don't want to sit there and think, okay, I have 30 minutes. Now what do I do to take care of myself? I would say try to have a plan in place of what that looks like. That's actually where LB can help out, because we actually prompt you with that, right? So, but it's, what are the things that I like? What are the things that make me happy? And it could be small things. It could be a certain song. It could be getting myself flowers. It could be the massage that I'm going to book right now for Thursday at such and such a time, right? So it's just making those special moments for you. It's having a plan on who are the people that you can call. Is that 2 to 3 people, whether they live in the state or not? Who is that person that I can call in that moment when I have 30 minutes or 5 minutes? So I think my point is have some form of a plan, things that you like, who you can call, who your support is, what in the moment that you can do for yourself. Because think about it, even if you live alone and you're not even a caregiver, when you have those moments that you need a little pick-me-up or something, we have a little bit of a plan. We know, you know what? I'm going to drop this and I'm going to drive to the mall because I just want to walk it. I just want to look at the new purses, right? Whatever it might be, the new shoes. That plan will help you in those moments. So that would be the first thing that I would say is recognize and have a plan. The second thing is when you're talking about that emotional support, how do you ask someone for that? I think that's part of the plan is, look, I have a friend that's in Michigan. I probably talk to her this is actually real. Every couple weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, we'll connect. What's funny is when I do pick up that phone, because, with texting today and memes, we kind of communicate all the time, but to actually pick up that phone, the most time that we call each other is when we just need that little support. Not that anything's bad going on in life. It's just, I want to hear someone's voice. I want to hear her voice. Having that conversation with, look, we don't talk on the phone often. Most people don't anymore. So when I call, if you're not busy, like if you're not in your own situation, can you pick up? Will that be okay if you pick up? And I don't necessarily want it to be me venting, which is absolutely a good thing to do, but you also want that person to pick you up. So yes, venting, it might be a vent situation. I might be complaining about my family not helping me. I actually might call you about that. But what I also might call you about is talk to me about what's going on in your life, or let's talk about when we're going to see each other. Let's talk about an old time that we went, river rafting and I fell out, right? Just anything like that. So I think having those plans and those people set up, even if you have to write it down, which oftentimes we do create plans for people and we post it. I think that's such a good idea. It seems like I'm not going to do that. But I tell you what, if you do, and you look at it in that moment, you're going to be really thankful that you did, because you're doing that when you have the emotional bandwidth and the clarity in that moment to create that list. So you're actually supporting yourself.
Yep, that all resonates. Can I ask this question in a different way? One of the things that frustrates me most is when well-meaning people, like they're well-meaning people, even often former caregivers themselves, is they often look at my story or hear one sliver of someone's story, and the first thing they say is, well, make sure you plan in some self-care, or make sure you take care of you. And in the moment, I have a few reactions. The first is, well, what makes you think I'm not taking care of myself? Number one. Number two is also, do you understand that I am, or someone is, a current family caregiver that is up at 6 o'clock in the morning, thinking through all of the things that have to happen throughout the day. Their loved one now needs to be changed, needs to be washed, needs to be fed, and they have to do that all themselves. They then have to go and get their child ready for school. They're also working full time, right? They also have to put the clothes in the laundry. There are a number of things happening within every minute of the day. And the last thing that I or any other family member wants to hear in the moment is like, well, have you planned in some self-care? Now, I recognize and I know and I'm grateful for the reminders, but I often think that people could approach that comment in a different way because frankly, sometimes that's the straw that breaks the camel's back in the midst of all that myself and probably many other caregivers are holding. So I'm curious, how would you help a current caregiver navigate that, feeling when someone just says, make sure you're not pouring from an empty cup. You got to take care of you. What's your self-care plan? And you're like, that's not even on my mind right now.
Right. I would say, so I'm going to take probably a different answer than, there's several answers that I could give. I'm going to go down this road. Why does that trigger you so much? Why is that the trigger? Who's this person to you?
Well, they're often strangers. So, I mean, I think what I wasn't expecting you to say that, Landon. I was trying to help other people, but why does it trigger me? Is because, well, part of me is like, you don't know me. You don't know what's happening. You don't know my day is packed. And actually what I would appreciate you saying is, wow, I know your plate's really full. What does it look like for you to take care of yourself in the midst of all that I know you have going on? That's very different than make sure you take care of you. I just feel it feels so dismissive to the realities of what I'm holding as a caregiver.
So what you just said is, what I heard is the trigger is systemically that people still do not know how difficult it is to be a caregiver. Because if that's your answer, then you have zero idea. To your point, I understand that that's a truth, and you're right on some level. But that's just like walking by someone that you have no idea, and you're like, oh, how are you doing today? As you're continuing to pass by them because you don't know them and you really don't care. I mean, not that you don't care about human beings, but you know what I'm saying? You're just like, how you doing today? As you're walking by, you're like, I can't even answer because you just walked by me. Well, yeah, because I don't know you. To me, that's the equivalent.
You're onto something, Linda. Yeah.
So it's systemically, right? It's again, you got dealt this hand. Your family, you and your mom got dealt this bad hand. And not even systemically are people getting it, which is why we not only have built elbi, but why you do what you do and why we're doing this right now, is let's talk for real. Let's talk authentically, honestly about how this is. It's not fun. Do we want to do it because we love them? Of course. But when our society and our fellow peers don't get it and put a cherry on top by saying something like that when they're meaning good, but that just tells me you have zero idea. So that's the trigger.
Yes.
So let's keep doing what we're doing so we can get it out there around, look, maybe it's, I don't know how you do this. I'm, even if they want to say something like that, because it changes step at a time. So, gosh, I hope you're taking care of yourself because I know how hard it is. That's very different than take care of yourself. It's a different message, completely different message.
We listen, everyone needs an elbi. Everyone needs a Linda in their back pocket. They need to be able to say, I am feeling this. How do I, yes, that is it. And it's this sense of like, but I also don't have the capacity to engage in a bigger conversation with you. So I'm just gonna say, okay, and walk away, Yeah,
exactly. Look, this is navigating life in general is not easy. I wouldn't say that it's difficult all the way, right? Life is joyful, but it can be hard. And so now you're adding this particular layer. Everybody has different layers, right? But this is applicable. The layering of caregiving, number one. Now you're caregiving for a loved one, number two. Number three, you're caregiving for someone who is literally, you're watching them lose their memory and relational, it's just a different level with dementia.